Students, in my textbook, 2 pages were missing in this particular chapter. So in the last lecture, I did not even realize that 2 pages were missing, and I taught you, leaving 2 pages in between, I taught you the next part of it. So I'm sending you the lecture of these 2 particular pages, though it was a dialogue kind of a thing between the father and the son, where he's asking for permission to go to the forest to go and bring back the fawn. Only that part was missing, the rest is there in my textbook, there's no problem about it. So be cautious, only one child discovered that I had missed out on these particular pages. So I'm giving you the explanation of page number 88 and 89 right now. Can I write back with mill wheel and see if I can find it? So he's asking to take along with him to the forest a person named Mill Wheel. Tell your ma I said you can go. So the father agrees to he going to the forest. He sidled back to the table and sat down. His mother was pouring coffee for everyone. So after the permission was given, he walked back quietly, and he knew that the mom would be worried, but he was desperate to go. So mama came pouring coffee for everyone. He said, "Ma, Pa says I can go bring back the fawn." She held the coffee pot in the mid-air. What fawn? Now she knows that the doe had been killed, but for a kid to go and fetch the fawn was a difficult decision for the mother to make. The fawn belonging to the doe we killed. We used the doe's liver to draw out the poison and saved Pa. She gasped. Now she was in a shock. Now a kid going and bringing that particular fawn? Well, for pity's sake, Pa says it would be ungrateful to leave it to starve. Doc Wilson said, "That's right, ma'am. Nothing in the world comes quite free." The boy's right and his daddy's right. So dad was not of the opinion. Firstly, it was the child's idea to bring back the fawn. So, but if you tag along the name of the dad, the task actually becomes easy to take permission from mom. Millville said, he can write back with me. I'll help him find it. She set down the pot helplessly. Well, if you'll give it your milk, we've got nothing else to feed it. Now, mother is more worried about what would be fed to the fawn. So she says, if you give away your part of the milk, like whatever you drink, that particular ration, if you give it to him, then it's okay with us. Millville said, "Come on, boy, we've got to get riding." Ma, Baxter asked anxiously, You'll not be gone long. So she asked him, "Will you be gone long? Will you be coming back fast?" Jody said, "I'll be back before dinner for sure." Millville mounted his horse and pulled Jody up behind him. He said to Millville, "Do you think the fawn's still there? Will you help me find him?" So here goes an adult and a boy in the search of the fawn. We'll find him if he's alive. How you know that it's a he? So he wanted to know whether it's a female. Like when he continuously he's saying he. So the question arises, how do you know it's a male or a female? The spots were all in a line. On a doe fawn, Pa says the spots are every which way. So taking into consideration the kind of a design on its skin, on its fur, then they decided by that looking of it that it was a he. It was not a she. Jody gave himself over to thoughts of the fawn. They passed the abandoned clearing. They passed away from the clearing where nobody used to live. He said, "Cut to the north, Millville. It was up here that Pa got bitten by the snake and killed the doe, and I saw the fawn." So he tells him the direction to where to move. Suddenly, Jody was unwilling to have Millville with him. If the fawn was dead or could not be found, he could not have his disappointment seen. Now this boy he's got a very high self-respect. So he says, like, if in any case the fawn is killed by any predator, or we can't find the fawn, so he doesn't want Millville to see the disappointment on his face. So he's in no mood of taking Millville from that particular spot further. And if the fawn was there, the meeting would be so lovely and so secret that he could not endure to share it. So neither did he want the time when these two would meet, that in like the happiness, the joy he would share with the fawn to be noticed by somebody else. In either ways, the sorrow also he didn't want to share, the happiness also he didn't want to share. He said, it's not far now, but the scrub is very thick for a horse. I can make it on foot. So the excuse he makes is that now the scrub, the dense shrubs down there will not allow the horse to move, so it's okay, I go back on foot over there. But I'm afraid to leave you boys. Suppose you got lost or got bitten by a snake too. So because he is an adult, he knows that there are many rattlesnakes over there. What if you get bitten, and how would I come to your rescue? I'll take care. It might take me a long time to find the fawn if he's wandered. Leave me off right here. So the boy is adamant over here, saying that you leave me here only. Alright, but you take it easy now. You know north here and east. So he wants to see whether this boy knows his directions or not. There and there, that tall pine makes a bearing. So he says that particular pine tree he pinpoints at, and he says it will help you in finding the directions, in identifying the directions. So long, Millville, I am obliged. So he says, I am very more than happy that you helped me in finding the directions. Also, you have told me how to find my direction. He waited for the sound of the hoofs to end. So the horse moved away, and he was waiting for the horse to go away so that he could move further. And then cut to the right. The scrub was still. Only his own crackling of twigs sounded across the silence. When you walk on dense scrub and there are dry branches on the ground, you put your foot on them, then they crackle, the sound, they break, and the crackling sound is made. He wondered for an instant if he had mistaken his direction. So he was wondering, did he go in the wrong direction? Was he on the correct way? Could he find? All these doubts were there in his mind. After this part of it, then a buzzard rose in front of him. I have already taught you this particular part. So only these 2 pages, because of the print missing in my textbook, I missed out. So when you listen to the lecture, you stop on that particular page, the prior video, stop the video over there, listen to this video, and then carry on with the lecture of the prior one. So just an adjustment to be made because of a glitch in the textbook. I borrowed book from somebody else, and then I am reading it out to you. Okay? Thank you, dear.